everybody. Welcome to Real Talk. I'm Deb Kent. I'm a realtor with Gulfport Realty, and this lady here.
Yeah, I'm Stacy Purcell. I'm with Gulfport Realty also. And today we're coming to you from the Beach Bazaar in downtown Gulfport.
This is such a great store.
It is a great store. Mike and Jeannie have done wonders with this store.
Yeah, I love going here because there's always so much, and there's something for every budget, and there's so much color, and it definitely feels like the kind of store you would want in a little beach town like Gulfport. This is a fabulous place.
It definitely is. I always say I always tell Mike, you sell affordable happiness all day long.
Yeah, that's a good point because it does make me very happy to be here. And they were nice enough to let us use their space for today's segment. And it is appropriate as well because today we're talking about staging. And we've picked out some objects that you will see a little later that we think would be really perfect for staging a house. Yeah, so let's start by talking about why staging is such a great idea. And I should say that I actually run a staging company as well as being a realtor called Strategic Staging. And strategic is key because strategic is the approach that we take to staging a house so that it sells for top dollar and gets the most possible offers. So staging is really more than just making a place look pretty. There's a strategic agenda as well.
I always believe in staging too. We offer that free with Gulfport Realty, but right now with the market and how fast houses are selling, we've really scaled back a lot of that. But before we can even get any of our staging furniture into a home, the house is under contract.
It's true. This happens. So it is a seller's market, and as a result, a lot of houses don't really need staging in order to get offers. On the other hand, I believe that staging will get you more offers and get you higher dollar offers because the houses are so beautiful. So the question is, can I sell my house without staging? In today's market, absolutely you can. It's not a necessity, it's not a requirement. But if your house is staged beautifully and it makes beautiful photos, chances are you are going to get multiple offers that will drive your price way up. So chances are.
Because I have the wow and whoa factor idea on this.
Okay.
Sometimes I go to a house and I look at the staging and I'm like, wow, did they stage this house wonderfully? They stage it so it shows the living room spaciously. And then I've been in some houses where I'm like, whoa, who put that in? Why is that here? That shouldn't be here.
Mm-hmm. The wow and the whoa.
The wow and the whoa factor.
Right. So, and that's a good reason, and that's something that we're going to talk about, which is how do you stage in a way that you're going to get wow and not whoa, because there is a way to do that. Whether you choose to hire a realtor who stages for free, as we do, or you want to, take a stab at staging yourself, there are things that you really should know about staging. And
in that case, less is more.
That's correct.
Less is more when it comes to staging.
Yeah. So
the less you have, the more I think your house looks. The more better.
Mo better. The primary reason for staging a house is to make beautiful photos. That's the number one reason because 99.9% of people looking for a house are looking online. So those online photos will be the very first contact that potential buyers have with your house. The first time they see it, it's going to be online. And those photos, ideally, even in a seller's market, should be beautiful, appealing, high impact, and not confusing. They should be very easy to read right away.
I think they should also flow with the home. If it's a mid-century modern, it's always nice to have some mid-century modern pieces in there. If it's a cottage, I like to put some cottage furniture. My home that I have in DeLand, it's a mission-style home, and I have all stickly furniture in there. It's an Airbnb, and the pictures of it look so good. That furniture lends itself to the character of that home. I always try to do that.
Staging in a house accomplishes several things. It makes beautiful photos, as we mentioned before, and that's important because people will see your house for the first time online, so those pictures really need to be very clear, very appealing. You want people to fall in love. I aim for something that looks like it's out of a magazine spread. There are lots of good reasons for staging. A, you want to make beautiful photos. B, staging, honestly, it does distract away from the flaws of a house. Now, I'm not saying that we want to hide anything, and certainly if there's a problem in your house, you want to disclose it on your seller's disclosure when you're getting ready to sell. So please don't misunderstand. I'm not saying that we use staging to cover up problems with the house. But if you have a house that's a little rough around the edges and you stage beautifully, it does change the experience of being in that house. People are less likely to focus on the flaws of the house and more inclined to just get the general feeling of the house. And that's what we want. We want people to go through and imagine themselves living there, know what it feels like to feel like home, without focusing on every little problem that will be coming up in inspection anyway. My goal is that when somebody walks into a house that's been staged by us, they feel like they would be absolutely heartsick if they did not get that house. I want someone, by the time they leave, they're like, oh my gosh, if we don't get this house, I'm going to be sick. Basically, that's what I'm aiming for, and that's one of the reasons why I stage.
I wanted to talk about the old house thing, because you said like problem areas. I like to find like when it's an old kitchen or something, I just put some more antiques in there, and then people love the old kitchen. Where if they would have just walked in beforehand, they'd have been like, oh my gosh, this kitchen's got to go. Well, not everybody wants everything brand new. I've noticed here, especially in Gulfport where we sell, our homes are quite a bit older. People love the old character. And during the late 80s and the 90s, some of the character has been stripped from these homes. And when people walk in, they don't want to see that. And so that's when some staging really comes in handy. And it also lets people know what they can do. Because with the new materials and everything, you can take a house that has been updated incorrectly during the 80s and 90s and bring it back to its original with modern conveniences.
That's really true. That's a really good point. Another thing that you can do with staging is show the functionality of a house. So people going into an empty house, they might say, how would I use this space? How would I use this little nook? And through staging, you can suggest to them, this is how I would use it. I would, you put a little office in there, you make a breakfast nook, you have a secondary dining area. So there are things that you can do.
Staging does help create and identify rooms where people wouldn't necessarily think of them. Like the breezeway, a lot of people use them as dining rooms, but if you make it into more of a sitting area separate from the living area, the living room, it's really nice. So yeah, staging does have a very, very important part in real estate.
Another thing that we do with staging sometimes is if you have a Jack and Jill bathroom, and that's the only bathroom in the house, a lot of people are like, oh great, so I'm going to have to go through a bedroom to get to a bathroom. Or my guests are going to have to go through a bedroom to go through a bathroom. So when we have a Jack and Jill bathroom, we'll stage one of those bedrooms as an office. So they're not thinking, someone's going to have to go through a private bedroom, but instead they see, you just go through the office to get to the bathroom.
Yes.
And it's a way of addressing what could be an objection to having.
That's a big objection, too.
It is. People don't like that.
I don't like that.
Me neither. There is a difference between decorating and staging. Staging is really, like the word suggests, it's stage, it's stagecraft, it's a set. The house becomes kind of like a set, a movie set or a theater set. You're really staging the house for the purpose of selling.
Yeah, I'm probably more of a decorator. Mm-hmm. And blow-up mattresses have made staging a wonderful, easy bedroom stage.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Blow-up mattresses on a couple of storage containers.
The totes that you put all your other stuff in. I put everything in my totes, and then, and I usually leave a little note saying, please do not sit on the bed.
Oh, gosh.
Because,
I know. That reminds me of the time that we staged a house with a sofa that had a problematic leg.
Okay.
And the agent who was showing it knew that it was a staged house, and she was one of our agents, and she knew that the leg had a tendency to snap off. And she was showing the house just as this very large family went to sit on the sofa. And she's like in slow motion, like, and sure enough, it collapsed.
It did? Oh.
Yes. But fortunately,
It was
no
okay.
injuries.
Yeah, it was a short fall.
It was a very short
Not when
fall.
people like throw themselves on the fake bed, especially the fake cardboard bed. That is not fun.
Bad. Now, if you do use an inflatable mattress for your staging, just check on your house now and then to make sure that it's still inflated.
Oh, yes.
Because it does tend to leak, and then you've got all your beautiful bedding on like a pancake.
Yep. I've seen it.
Yeah, me
Many
too.
times.
Me too. The other purpose of staging an empty home is that it gives your photos focal points. If you don't stage a room that's completely empty, somebody looks at that room and they really can't, it's boring and they can't really orient themselves in that room. But if you put up some artwork, that immediately gives a focal point for the photos. It makes the photo more interesting, and it makes the experience of walking through the house more interesting as well.